Right, current events time. This week, actually yesterday, uh, one an American representative, Democrat, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, basically argued that the situation on the border basically boils down to Americans having established concentration camps on the southern border. Uh, there were a lot of people, a lot of Republicans that pushed back. Liz Cheney, who I believe is the number three Republican in the House, basically said that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was demeaning the memory and disgracing herself by equating what was going on the southern border with the murder of 6 million Jews. Um, Something else, I mean, I know that the House Minority Leader also weighed in on that and basically made substantially similar statements. Um, the question is, what exactly was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying, and when is a concentration camp a concentration camp? What does it mean to say, that forcibly massing large numbers of civilians without benefit of any kind of legal trial, when is that actually a concentration camp? And I think we also need to keep in mind that people that are, a lot of folks that are criticizing Cortez, or Ocasio-Cortez, I'm not sure how to say that correctly. A lot of these folks are using a very specific example to say that she's wrong about it. They're basically saying that that there's only one example of a concentration camp, and that's what the Nazis did to the Jews. In point of fact, there have been concentration camps throughout the 20th century. The British concentrated Dutch populations during the Boer Wars at the turn of the 20th century. Italians concentrated people. The Spanish concentrated people during their Civil War. The Turks concentrated large numbers of people, at the end of World War I. And frankly, that probably was one of the initial instances of sort of a mass killing of people because of their national identity. This is what happened at the end of World War I between the Turks and the Armenians. Um, and we in turn large numbers of Japanese, over the course of World War II. So the question is, was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez using the language loosely? Was she using it in an inflammatory way? Or was she basically saying something that is, sort of true? That, how you deal with large numbers of immigrants, legal or illegal, documented or undocumented, weighs on you as a civilization. Um, and I think that it is a difficult issue. I think I have a pretty clear idea of where I come down on this. But I understand the other side of it. I think that we do need to have borders. The borders need to be, secure. But we're dealing with a difficult situation, and the people that are coming up here, uh, are doing it out of sheer desperation, and they're not likely to be stopped by the notion that they're going to be forced into a camp, because their choice is being, murdered or having their children, you know, uh, their female children, shunted off into prostitution, or turned into drug mules, or their male children forced into drug gangs, or running away. Um, that doesn't strike me as a reasonable choice to force somebody to make when you're dealing with your family people. So I am going to attach with this the origin point for all this, which is basically an article out of Esquire by Jack Holmes that basically cites an expert on concentration camps who stated that yeah, what's going on the southern border, the camps that are being set up are in fact concentration camps. 24 people have died in those camps already. And if you think that's the way to go, then you have to acknowledge the fact that there are probably going to be more people that are going to die in those camps. Legally speaking, what are the consequences of that? So give the article a read. Listen into what I'm saying. You don't have to agree with me. Hopefully you understand by now that I'm not an authoritarian in any way. I acknowledge that I could be wrong. I once thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. Uh, but anyway, give it a thought. Give it some, and again, how does this attach to what we're dealing with this week, which is, again, the idea of civil liberties and civil rights? And let's keep something in mind. Um, the fact that these folks are not American citizens does not mean that they're not protected by American law. When they come into American territory, it's important to keep in mind the Bill of Rights constrains the government in their treatment of everybody. Okay? And that again is a way of protecting us.